Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever you're watching this from around the world. My name is Raphael, the Community Manager for Wirex, and this is your Wirex Weekly Live, and we've got a jam-packed Wirex Weekly News Live for you today. So I hope you guys look forward to it. So there's just a little preview of what we've got right there to the to your right, and you can see we've got news on Binance, on Stephen Hawking's unfortunate passing away, the Tonight Show's electric cars, new news on Pavel in Singapore, EU legislation and Chinese legislation and so forth, and of course Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news as well. But first we have the Wirex news, which you can see we've launched the virtual cards to external beta testers, and they've been testing the application and seeing how well that's been going. And we've got some really good news. So this is a tweet from the Wolf of Crypto, who's been actively testing the Wirex beta app. And what he said is that the virtual card system is absolutely flawless. This is officially the easiest and most efficient way to buy Bitcoin. Fiat deposit takes less than 30 seconds and the exchange rates are better than OTC exchanges. So he's looking forward to the new features and the plastic cards. Well, we've got some new news for him with regards to some new features, because a feature that has been sorely missed with Wirex, one of the easiest and best ways to buy Bitcoin through your mobile phone with a credit or debit card, is coming back. So this is actually going to be relaunched again on the 19th. The fees, sorry, no, not the fees. The charges, the amount of Bitcoin that you can buy are going to be changed. So you can watch this video where I give a tutorial on how to do that. The only difference now between what's in that tutorial is that now you'll be able to buy $500 worth of Bitcoin per day, pounds, euros as well. So $500 worth, $500 pounds or euros worth of Bitcoin per day with a credit or debit card, and that feature is coming back on the 19th. So I'm going to make another tutorial for that, so keep that in mind. Next bit of news comes directly from Singapore, where Pavel Matveev is going to be there, and he's currently there. He's at the Money 2020 event in Asia, and he's giving a presentation. So guys, if you are in Singapore and you are looking for an actual card service provider with a real life product and not hype and not really fancying sponsorship, and that actually working on a product and cares about you guys, well, you guys need to go and speak to Pavel, and he'll be there and he'll be available to answer your questions. And also give him a follow as well on his Twitter page. And moving on from that, I actually interviewed Pavel earlier, late last week actually, and this is a screenshot, a snippet from the interview. We're going to be having that come on for you guys. And next, that's pretty much everything for the Wirex news. Let's get into the weekly crypto coverage that you guys have been waiting for. First bit of news comes with regards to electric cars. Now, a Japanese company has been working on a blockchain-based application for machine-to-machine payments for electric cars, where electric cars can actually pay to charge themselves, and it's completely autonomous. So imagine if you owned an electric car, and you could basically park it at work, and if it needed to be charged, it could go and find a charging station and then come back to where you left it, obviously for you to drive back home with it. And that's a really exciting and cool development. Machine-to-machine economics is something I discussed earlier this week in my identity presentation. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll leave the link to the article in the description below, and you can get that. So Roman Berlinski is saying salut, hello. So I'm saying hello to him as well on YouTube. Anyways, let's move on. Information and Software Services Division study to establish a national blockchain and distributed accounting technology standardization technical committee. Well, this is pretty badly translated from a Chinese website. This is the Chinese Ministry of Industry Information Technology for the People's Republic of China. And what they are doing is that they are working on the standardization and developing a regulatory roadmap for software services in China, which is a government-based initiative in essence to adopt blockchain technology and what it can do for the Chinese government and the Chinese information technology infrastructure. Very, very cool. Let's hope that we can see very similar sort of standards getting set in other parts of the world, because China is moving very, very fast in this industry, and it wouldn't be cool to let them have all of the fun. Next bit of news comes with regards to Google and the FBI. Now, it's become apparent, this has been sort of viewed across a few places. Facebook has been targeted as well, and they got pressured. It came out recently that they got pressured by the FBI to disable cryptocurrency ads and ideas. So this time it's Google. So Google has been asked to basically been pressured by the FBI to stop cryptocurrency ads on their platform. And this may come. We don't know what's happening. Google have said that they are, they're completely compliant, and I think I agree with that. But certain cases within the FBI have stated, certain parts of the FBI has stated that, it's not only reported by me. This article comes from Trust Nodes, and also the Times of Israel reported on this as well. And they've been speaking to Jason Roy, a senior investigator. And apparently he said that the FBI have explained to Facebook and Google that they've got concerns over these cryptocurrency and Bitcoin adverts. And there's been some active pressure there. So who knows what's happened with Facebook could very well happen with Google and so forth. And the next bit of news is very similar to what I'm currently doing now. So John Oliver did a piece on cryptocurrencies last week. Not even last week, it was earlier this week. It was last week, or on Sunday. And it was a bit of the same, very, very similar to Ellen DeGeneres' piece on cryptocurrencies. Someone that's not in the space, basically explaining that, highlighting all of the potential scams, the crazy people like myself who love the technology, and so forth. I mean, it was very entertaining for me to watch. But again, I personally feel like John Oliver has ignored a lot of the real aspects with sort of financial systems, like the LIBOR rigging crisis of 2008, where Lehman's brother basically got away with rigging the markets for 2 years. And he says that, it's a very scammy environment and technology might and might not take off. Blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies would completely prevent things like the LIBOR rigging scandal from happening, and would also make it completely transparent. So anybody at home could be able to see what was going on within the financial markets as they happened in real time, which is something that regulators failed to do. And a result of the Lehman Brothers LIBOR rigging scandal is that 7 million Americans lost their homes. And that is, that's a catastrophe. Nobody in cryptocurrency has lost their homes, let alone 7 million people. And then when the LIBOR rigging scandal did happen, nobody went to jail. Did anyone go to jail? Are people getting targeted, and is legal action getting taken against people within the cryptocurrency industry for scams? Yes, of course. But the underlying technology doesn't change, and that's something very much to watch. And that wasn't touched upon by John Oliver at all in his piece. The next piece is that we reported, I think, back in December that Microsoft has stopped accepting Bitcoin for payments, but apparently they still are. So you can actually still pay Microsoft for your licenses with Bitcoin. And this is contrary to sort of Bill Gates coming on that Reddit Q&A and saying that Bitcoin is very nefarious and kills people. You know, just don't quote me on that. This is just opinion as well at the end of the day. And Microsoft is still accepting Bitcoin, and they're still doing research into second layer applications and use cases of the protocol. So it's really, really interesting to watch. It's definitely one to watch. The next bit of news comes from Binance. Now, we've got two pieces on Binance. Binance had some API integrations compromised, where people were able to get access to people's API keys and set sell orders. Now, in response, in retaliation, Binance is not playing defensive. Binance has come out on the offensive and has basically said that the first person to supply substantial information and evidence that leads to the legal arrest of the hackers in any jurisdiction will receive the equivalent of $250,000 in Binance token, and the exchange will be determined at the time of transfer. So that's really, really like cool news, and you know, hats off to Binance who are doing that. Binance, if you are looking for a fiat on and off ramp, please get in touch with Wirex. We would love to work with you and potentially use some of your wallet facilities, and you know, who knows. And they're doing something very similar to us. So Binance officially announced the develop of the Binance chain. So they want to build a blockchain, which will probably be a hybrid centralized and decentralized blockchain that will allow people to trade all of the tokens that they have on their exchange. This is very, very similar to what Wirex have built already. I'm talking, of course, about the Wirex payment network, the WPay network that connects over 200 liquidity providers and merchants, and it allows for a fully autonomous, trustless blockchain environment for machine-to-machine payments. And when you make an exchange on the Wirex platform, you're getting the cheapest and best exchange rate possible from over 200 liquidity providers providing liquidity in over 130 different currencies. So that's very, very cool. Very, very similar. Two sorts of very similar things that Wirex and Binance are working on. Next bit of news comes from the European Central Bank, and they've released this statement with regards to Bitcoin. It's very similar to their previous stances in the past, so nothing new there. But what is new is the closing paragraph, right? So they've actually come out and admitted that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies offer a viable solution to a problem that they're facing. So I'm going to quote them directly, and it says, despite its many faults, Bitcoin has put the spotlight on an old failing of our current system: cross-border retail payments. Such payments not only permit shoppers to easily buy goods online from overseas, but also allow foreign workers to send money home, supporting financial inclusion and development. However, these payment channels are generally much slower, less transparent, and way more expensive than domestic ones. Improvements here are the best way of rising to the Bitcoin challenge. And you know what? That is one aspect where cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin completely trumps the current financial system. But they failed to completely recognize the transparency aspect, which I feel that a lot of people think is a much bigger aspect. The fact that cryptocurrencies allow for completely transparent viewership of certain things. And we witnessed that with the Mt. Gox sort of selling the bottom, which I think might still be going on now, and where sort of the cold wallets from Mt. Gox, people could see the transfer of Bitcoins and see them being sold on exchanges at rock bottom prices. And that allowed for a very good evaluation of why the price of Bitcoin was going down. But that's definitely something to watch. Now, the next bit of news is with regards to a former CFTC chairman, and he's come out and said that the Bitcoin bubble will not burst anytime soon. So Jim Newsom, a former chairman of the US Commodities and Futures Commission, which today was also a date where some of the futures contracts get honored. So that's something to watch as well if you're interested into that. He's come out and said that the highly anticipated Bitcoin bubble will not burst in the near future, since the industry is still very much in its nascent stages and the big money has yet to land within the thing. And that's something very interesting. Institutional investors are still trying very hard to get on the bandwagon. They can't find a good way to get onto the bandwagon. So Newsom and Paul Atkins, the former Securities and Exchange Commissioner, presented a paper on best practices for ICO organizers and participants at the Chamber of Digital Commerce annual meeting on March 8th. So this space is still very much in its infancy. We still don't really have regulatory clarity, as this report from the US Securities and Exchange Commission, this statement from them says. So they've come out with a statement on potentially unlawful online platforms for trading digital assets. They haven't specifically mentioned cryptocurrencies or tokens, but it's pretty clear by the ambiguity of their statement, that's where they're going to. And they've come out and basically talked about divisions of enforcement and trading and markets. And they've said that online trading platforms have become a very popular way for investors to buy and sell digital assets, including coins and tokens offered and sold in so-called initial coin offerings. The platforms often claim to give investors the ability to quickly buy and sell digital assets. Many of these platforms bring buyers and sellers together in one place and offer investors access to automated systems that display priced orders, execute trades, and provide transaction data. A number of these platforms provide a mechanism for trading assets that meet the definition of a security under the federal securities law. And if a platform offers trading of digital assets that are securities and operates as an exchange as defined by the federal securities law, then the platform must register with the SEC as a national securities exchange or be exempt from registration. The federal regulatory framework governing registered national securities exchanges and exempt markets is designed to protect investors and prevent against fraudulent and manipulative trading practices. What does this mean for you guys? Well, this means that this is probably not going to go away, and the Securities and Exchange Commission is very seriously looking at ICOs and how to regulate ICO exchanges and networks. So currently it's extremely difficult for any sort of big crypto exchange that offers the sort of buying and selling of many tokens to get recognition as an exchange. And then once you are, you then might have to limit your exposure to accredited investors. But you know, that is definitely something to be watched. So if you are invested in ICOs, be very, very careful. There might be some developments coming on that from the SEC very, very soon. And, you know, that follows on from a report last week or a few weeks ago where they, where we reported that they are actually, Reuters, CCN or Reuters or CoinDesk, I think, started saying that subpoenas had started to be issued to some of the biggest ICOs. And there we go. This is a continuation. From investor.org, the spotlight is on initial coin offerings and ICOs and digital assets, and the companies that use them for fundraising too. So who knows what's going to happen in this space? It's very, very iffy. Next bit of news, it comes from South Korea, and South Korea have taken a slightly different stance. They are, it's alleged now from btcmanager.com that they are to reverse any sort of ban on ICOs. and South Korea's ban on initial coin offerings could be reversed in the coming months, according to a new report. The Korea Times, a business-focused media company founded by Hancock Ibo, one of South Korea's largest newspapers, reported that the South Korean government would soon reverse its ban on initial coin offerings and allow token sales under certain conditions. So that's pretty interesting from South Korea as well. Again, it's the ex-CFT chair. This time, this is the same article, but it's coming from Forbes, and they're pointing to the fact that he's now become a cryptocurrency advisor. And last but not least is with regards to the sad passing of Stephen Hawking earlier today, and his links and his statement. One of his most famous statements is with regards to AI, an industry where blockchain is taking off. Now, blockchain could really make or break artificial intelligence and allow for machine-to-machine learning, like we discussed earlier in this news segment with regards to the machine-to-machine learning blockchain being built in Japan. So that's pretty interesting. That's definitely one to be watched, and that is something that is coming very soon. But it is very sad to see that such a profound physicist, mathematician, and intellectual giant to the human race has passed away today. But anyways, that's enough of the sadness. Let's, this has been the Wirex weekly crypto coverage. My name's Raphael. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage from today. Stay tuned for some more updates and some more news, and we look forward to seeing you next week live. So please make sure you hit the bell button, hit the like button, and subscribe to our page. Invite all your friends over. Share this wherever you can. Reddit, Bitcoin Talk, Facebook, and YouTube, because I'm currently not doing this on Facebook anymore. So please make sure you share it there. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. That's everything from me today. I hope you've enjoyed the Wirex news and the crypto coverage as well. And I am signing off. Take care.